Okay, it's late season in the pumpkin garden, and what we're going to be seeing a lot of for the next several weeks are millions of little pumpkins forming, and they won't get that big. Usually they don't. They will ripen very, very quickly. I've got a couple of them here. Here's another one that's just blooming today. I don't know if it's going to turn into a pumpkin or not. But yeah, we're going to get more pumpkins and smaller pumpkins. So we might actually cross 20 pumpkins at the end of the season, but they're all going to be puny. We do have a couple of big guys out here still that are still pretty green. Still very green, in fact. That's a jack-o'-lantern. And that's going to be no bigger than the two big ones I've already harvested. Maybe about 15 pounds or so. There's another one way on the other side of the garden. There's a little guy starting to ripen, just barely starting to ripen. That's going to be a pie pumpkin, and that's a jack-o'-lantern. So there's no reason it should be that small. We do have a lot of weak vines this year because I didn't thin well enough. So that's part of the problem. But the other part has been the weather has been ridiculous. But that's another thing. The weather is about to change. As a matter of fact, it already has changed. It's going to get downright cold out here next week for this time of year. No frost, but cold enough to inhibit the growth of the pumpkin vines. There we go. That's another big guy, maybe 8 to 10 pounds, and it's turning orange, so it's not going to grow anymore. And we have another one here that's completely green. Could grow pretty big. It's got a pretty strong vine on it. Not the strongest, but could grow maybe to as big as the one I just showed you. And there's one that's blooming today. I'm not sure what that is. Let's see. Let's trace that vine. Oh, okay. That is a bunch of warts. Okay. I worked out that we actually have two bunch of warts, one with warts and one without. But when they don't have warts, you can't tell them from an elongated jack-o'-lantern. Here's a good size one. That one's going to be about 10 to 15 pounds. Little black ones all over the place. And there's Lumina hanging around, not growing. Not growing, not rotting, not doing anything. So I won't be growing those again. But it was a fun reminder of what they're like. Okay, what else have we got here? There's one right here, hanging in midair. It's an elongated one. Not going to get that big, I don't think. So, yeah, that's the way things typically are this time of year. Like I said, we get a lot of little pumpkins. At least, 5 or so little tiny pumpkins. Yeah, so kind of a disappointing year, but I guess the pumpkin vines did well considering the weather and some of the mistakes I made. Every year you're going to make mistakes, so don't beat yourself up over it when you grow pumpkins. There's so many things to remember that sometimes things just don't go right. This is a giant sunflower that's in the process of opening, and we've had a phenomenon this year, and I noticed a lot of people online are having this, where a sunflower doesn't develop all its petals. There we go. There's another one. That's over 8 feet tall. That's a big one. And this one's going to be 9 or 10 feet tall here. Here's one that's going to stop at a shorter height, about 6.5 feet tall here. That one. Yeah. So sunflowers are doing their thing, and these have gone by. Those were teddy bear sunflowers. These were stripy sunflowers, and those have pretty much gone by except for that one. There's a nice, this one attracts a lot of bees. Kind of an autumn colored one. And yeah, the bees really like these autumn colored ones. And the minis are passed by. This is supposed to be a mini, but it actually grew to about 6 feet tall. There. And it's pretty much had it for the year. And I'm going to let these reseed themselves, and we're going to try the sunflower garden again next year. And just see what happens. So, oh, we're going to get another teddy bear? No, maybe that's one of those stripy ones right over there. Okay, so, and you see the very autumnal looking frog, whoops, excuse me, frog garden here, frog pond. I'm going to get this branch out of here. There we go. Oh, the water is very, very clear. Okay, I'm going to have to go in there and scoop it out. Because a lot of leaves are landing in there, and nuts from the nut tree, and so forth and so on. We got a moth that died in there. So, yeah, I worked out why we haven't had any frogs for the last few years. Because we had dogs for the last few years. And the dogs do go into the water garden and poke at things. So the frogs probably just don't want to deal with that. But prior to that, we always had a leopard frog or two every year, and of course a whole bunch of toads. We haven't even seen any toads in the yard this year, and that's unusual. Okay, well, kind of a boring little update this time, but I will see you next time. And you take care. Oh, shoot, that's not the biplane. Biplanes are so much fun. Okay, so the fall decorations will be going up in another couple weeks, and I'll see you then. Talk to you later.